Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something pretty amazing?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Today we're going to tackle the science of gratitude. Not just the feel-good stuff, but like the real nitty-gritty.
Cool.
Yeah. We've got a bunch of sources for this one. Some Dr. Andrew Huberman, some of those awesome motivational compilations you see online, and even a TED Talk by David Steindl-Rast.
Sounds like we've got a lot to cover.
We do. But I think the mission here is to figure out what really makes gratitude work. You know, not just the surface level stuff, but how we can really use it to make our lives better.
You know, it's funny. We often think about gratitude as like this simple thing.
Right?
But when you actually dive into the science, it gets way more complex.
Totally. And I think one of the biggest curveballs is this idea that gratitude leads to happiness. I feel like we've all heard that, but David Steindl-Rast in his TED Talk, he kind of flips that on its head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's saying that happiness is fleeting unless we're actively cultivating gratitude.
Right.
It is. And he has this great story in his talk about coming back from Africa and being so happy about simple things, like running water or a light switch.
Oh, I can imagine.
Right. But he said that initial joy, it faded pretty quickly until he consciously acknowledged his gratitude for these everyday things.
That makes sense. It's like we get used to the good stuff and forget to appreciate it.
Exactly. But okay, then Dr. Huberman comes in and he throws in another curveball. He's suggesting that just making a list of things you're grateful for might not be the most effective way to go about it.
Huh. Why is that?
Well, he gets into the whole brain chemistry thing.
Okay.
Specifically, this neurotransmitter called serotonin.
Oh, yeah. Serotonin. I've heard of that.
Right, the happy chemical.
Right.
But it turns out it does way more than just boost our mood.
Really? What else does it do?
Well, it plays a big role in something called pro-social behavior.
Pro-social behavior.
Yeah. Basically, it helps us connect with other people, be more generous. And yes, it helps us experience and express gratitude more genuinely.
Interesting. So it's not just about feeling happy, it's about how we interact with others.
Exactly. And get this, research actually suggests that receiving gratitude might be even more powerful than giving it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Huberman mentions this study where people's brains showed more activity when they were listening to gratitude letters than when they were writing them.
That's fascinating.
Right. So how do we put that into practice if, we're not constantly getting showered with thank yous? Do we just start demanding more praise from people?
I don't think that's the answer.
Okay.
It's more about trying to see things from the other person's perspective, understanding why they're expressing gratitude and why it means something to them. This is where this concept of theory of mind comes in.
Theory of mind. Is that like mind reading?
Not exactly, but it's kind of close. It's about realizing that other people have their own thoughts and feelings and experiences that might be totally different from ours.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. So it's not about what we think or feel, but about understanding how other people think and feel.
Yeah. It's about recognizing that someone else's internal world might be completely different from our own. Like imagine, for example, you see someone trying to open a door with their hands full.
I've definitely been there.
Right. Now, someone with a good theory of mind would be able to recognize that that person is probably feeling frustrated.
Yeah, maybe even a little embarrassed.
Exactly. They'd be able to step outside of their own experience and see things from that other person's point of view.
And that could lead to, a random act of kindness, right? Like holding the door open or offering to help.
Exactly. And even if we're not directly involved, even just witnessing that act of kindness or receiving a genuine thank you can trigger those same feelings of gratitude within us.
So by understanding where someone else is coming from, we can actually open ourselves up to experiencing more gratitude ourselves.
Precisely. Both for their actions and for our own ability to help.
It's like we're tapping into this shared experience of appreciation.
Exactly. And the more we practice this theory of mind thing, the easier it becomes to access those feelings of gratitude.
Okay, I'm definitely starting to see gratitude in a whole new light here. But wait, there's more. Dr. Huberman also talks about this research on the power of stories.
Stories.
Yeah. Apparently, listening to a story can actually synchronize our heartbeats.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this crazy study where people listen to the same story at different times, and their heart rates synced up.
Wow, that's wild. It really shows how powerful stories can be.
It does. So it's not just in our heads, it's actually affecting us on a physical level.
That's incredible.
It is. And it makes me think, if we find a story that really evokes a sense of gratitude, it's not just an intellectual exercise. It's actually influencing our bodies.
I never thought about it like that.
Right. So instead of just trying to conjure up grateful feelings out of thin air, maybe we can use stories as a kind of jumping off point. Find a narrative that really resonates with us and let that feeling of gratitude kind of wash over us.
Yeah, I like that. Using stories to tap into genuine gratitude.
Exactly. So we've got the brain stuff, the story stuff, but there's another piece of the puzzle, right?
What's that?
Authenticity. Can we really fake gratitude, or does our brain know when we're not being genuine?
Ooh, good question. And the research seems to say that authenticity really does matter. Our brains are wired to detect sincerity.
Yeah.
And when it comes to gratitude, it looks like the intention behind the expression matters just as much as the expression itself.
Okay, I think we need to unpack that a bit. What role does intention play in all of this?
Well, there was this really interesting study where they gave people money and then measured how grateful they felt.
Okay.
And here's the thing. The amount of money mattered, but the giver's intention mattered even more.
Oh, wow. So, like, if someone gives you this huge gift, but you can tell they're only doing it out of obligation or, like, to show off, it doesn't have the same impact as a small, thoughtful gesture from someone who really cares.
Exactly. It's because our brains are constantly trying to figure out the motivations behind people's actions, reading between the lines.
Yeah. So when we sense that someone is being authentic, that their gratitude is real, it triggers a much stronger response in us.
Absolutely. We're wired for connection and genuine emotion.
This is making me think about all those times I just mumbled a thank you without really feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going through the motions, but my brain knew I wasn't being sincere.
It happens. We've all been there.
So it's not just about saying the right words, it's about really feeling it, right?
Exactly. And making sure our actions match our intentions. But, we've talked a lot about our brains, but what about the actual physical effects of gratitude? Is it just about feeling good, or are there, actual health benefits?
Oh, there are definitely some incredible health benefits, and that's what we're going to dive into next.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So it's not just about feeling good. There are, actual measurable benefits to making gratitude a regular practice.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What kind of benefits are we talking about?
Well, for example, research has shown that gratitude can actually reduce inflammation throughout the body. Wait, really? Inflammation? I know that's linked to all sorts of health issues, but I never would have connected it to gratitude.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. Tell me more about this.
Okay, so Dr. Huberman, he highlights this study where women who practiced gratitude regularly, they actually showed reduced activity in the amygdala. That part of the brain that's responsible for our fear response.
Oh, the amygdala, the fear center.
Exactly. It tends to get all fired up when we're stressed out.
Makes sense that calming that down would be good for us.
Right. But here's the really fascinating part. These women, they also had lower levels of those inflammatory markers in their blood, like TNF-alpha and IL-6.
Oh, wow, the stuff that contributes to chronic inflammation.
Exactly.
So it's not just about feeling better mentally and emotionally. It's like gratitude is an internal firefighter, taming that inflammation and protecting our bodies.
That's a great way to put it. And it makes perfect sense when you think about the link between stress and inflammation.
Right, because gratitude helps us regulate our stress response, which then has this positive ripple effect on our overall health.
That's the idea.
So we're talking less stress, lower inflammation, potentially even a boost to our immune system. Gratitude really is a superpower.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
But I have to ask, are there any downsides? Can we have too much of a good thing?
That's a good question, and it's something researchers are still exploring. But so far, the evidence suggests there's no harm in cultivating more gratitude.
Oh, good.
In fact, most studies show that the more we practice it, the greater the benefits we experience.
Okay, that's good to know. No gratitude overdose to worry about.
Hey.
But okay, we've covered the science, the amazing benefits. Now let's get practical. How do we actually make gratitude a part of our daily lives?
Well, remember that research-backed practice we talked about earlier?
Yeah, finding a story that resonates, writing down some key points to remember it, and then immersing ourselves in that feeling of gratitude for a few minutes each day.
Right. Using that story as a springboard to tap into genuine gratitude.
Exactly. So is that a good place to start?
I think so. And consistency is key. Even just a few minutes of dedicated practice can make a big difference.
Like building a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly.
But, some people might be thinking, I'm just not a grateful person. It's not in my nature. What would you say to those folks?
I'd say that's totally okay. You don't have to be naturally inclined towards gratitude to benefit from practicing it.
Oh, that's good.
Remember, it's a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned and strengthened over time.
So even if you're starting from scratch, you can still become a gratitude expert. That's encouraging.
Absolutely. It's about giving ourselves permission to transform our lives through gratitude.
Love that. Taking this knowledge and turning it into action. Action that can have a real, lasting impact on our well-being. But let's dive even deeper for a second. For those who want to really amp up their gratitude practice, are there any extra tips or tools we can share?
Well, we did touch on the potential of certain supplements earlier.
Ah, yes, Kana, the mysterious herb that might hold the key to unlocking even greater levels of gratitude.
Now remember, this is purely for informational purposes, and it's always best to talk to a healthcare professional before starting any new supplement.
Of course. Always good to check with your doctor.
But Kana, also known as Zembrin, it's been traditionally used to enhance mood and reduce anxiety. Some people find that it kind of amplifies the effects of their gratitude practice by potentially boosting serotonin levels in the brain.
So it's like a little helper for our gratitude journey?
You could think of it that way, but it's important to approach it with caution. Do your research. And remember, there's no magic bullet. The real work of cultivating gratitude happens within us.
Right, finding what works best for each individual. And speaking of that, we've been focusing on the story-based approach, but are there other ways people can practice gratitude?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many wonderful practices out there. Some people love keeping a gratitude journal where they write down a few things they're thankful for each day.
Oh, I've tried that. It's amazing how just shifting your focus to the positive can really change your whole outlook.
It's a simple but powerful practice. And then others prefer to incorporate gratitude into their existing routines. Maybe they express thanks during their morning meditation or their evening prayers.
I love that. Weaving gratitude into the fabric of our lives.
Exactly. And of course, there's the simple act of expressing gratitude to others.
Oh, right.
A heartfelt thank you, a thoughtful note, even just a genuine smile. It can make such a difference, both for the recipient and for ourselves.
It's true. Those small gestures can really brighten someone's day, and it boosts our own gratitude as well. It's a win-win.
Exactly. The key is to find what resonates with you and make it a regular practice. Forming that habit of gratitude.
Making it a part of who we are, not just something we do occasionally.
Right.
But amidst all this talk about practices and techniques, I feel like we're missing a crucial piece. How do we inspire our listener to take action? How do we get them excited about embracing gratitude?
Well, I think the best motivation comes from understanding the transformative power of gratitude. Painting a picture of what life could be like with more appreciation and joy.
Yes. Let's give our listener a glimpse of that possibility. What would a life filled with gratitude look like?
Okay, so imagine you wake up each morning with this sense of appreciation for just the simple gift of a new day.
Okay, instead of hitting the snooze button, we're welcoming the day with open arms.
Exactly. And then as you go through your day, instead of focusing on what's missing, you find yourself noticing and appreciating all the good things, no matter how small.
Okay, I like where this is going.
The warmth of the sun on your skin, the deliciousness of your lunch, a kind word from a colleague.
It's like suddenly those everyday moments become infused with meaning and joy.
Precisely. And then as you drift off to sleep each night, you feel this deep sense of contentment knowing you lived the day with an open heart and a grateful spirit.
Wow, that's beautiful. And the best part is it's not some far-off fantasy. It's a reality that's within reach for all of us if we're willing to embrace gratitude.
It really is.
But before we get too carried away with this beautiful vision, I think it's time for you to drop some final wisdom on us. What are your closing thoughts on the science of gratitude? What's the one thing you want our listener to take away from this deep dive?
The most important takeaway is that gratitude is more than just a feel-good emotion. It has the power to literally rewire our brains and bodies for greater well-being. It's about cultivating a mindset of appreciation, finding joy in the present moment, and connecting with the good in ourselves and the world around us.
Beautifully said. That's a powerful message to carry with us. So as we wrap up this incredible exploration into the science of gratitude, let's leave our listener with a little homework assignment. What do you think?
I love it. What do you have in mind?
All right, dear listener, here's your challenge. Take just 5 minutes today to think about something or someone you're truly grateful for. Really let that feeling of gratitude wash over you. Notice how it affects your body, your mind, your spirit, and then do it again tomorrow and the next day,
Right.
and the next. Make gratitude a daily ritual, a practice that nourishes your soul.
What a beautiful challenge. I can't wait to hear about the incredible transformations that unfold.
Me too. This has been an amazing journey, and I'm feeling so inspired. But we can't end it there. We need to leave our listeners with a final, thought-provoking question as they embark on their own gratitude adventures.
You're right. We can't just send them off into the world without something to ponder.
Okay, dear listener, here's your final challenge. We've explored the science, we've unpacked the benefits, we've even talked about supplements. But now it's time to get personal. Ask yourself this. What does gratitude mean to you? How can you weave it into your life in a way that feels authentic and meaningful? And most importantly, how can you use the power of gratitude to create a life that is richer, more fulfilling, and brimming with joy?
Those are powerful questions to reflect on. I have a feeling our listeners are about to embark on some incredible journeys of self-discovery.
And we'll be here cheering them on every step of the way. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those gratitude muscles flexing.
Farewell, fellow knowledge seekers. Yeah, it's like we're giving them a map to a happier and healthier life.
Right. And who doesn't love a good adventure? Before we wrap this up, I want to circle back to that study Dr. Huberman mentioned, the one about heart rates syncing up.
Oh, yeah, the one about stories.
Yes. The power of storytelling to literally get our hearts beating in unison. It really shows how deeply stories affect us. And not just like mentally and emotionally, but physically too.
It's incredible how powerful narratives can be.
Right. So if we choose a story that really makes us feel grateful, we're not just thinking about it, we're actually influencing our bodies.
Yeah, we're engaging our minds, our emotions, even our bodies in this symphony of gratitude. It's a holistic experience.
Okay, I love that. But let's be real for a second. Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. How do we practice gratitude when things are tough? When we're dealing with challenges, setbacks, maybe even heartbreak.
Yeah, that's where the real work comes in. And it's also where gratitude can be the most transformative.
So it's not about ignoring the negative, but about finding those glimmers of hope even in the darkest of times.
Exactly. It's about shifting our perspective, focusing on what we do have instead of what we don't have.
David Steindl-Rast actually touches on this in his TED Talk. He says that we can be grateful even in the midst of suffering.
He does. And he makes a really important distinction. We can't be grateful for suffering, but we can be grateful in those moments.
Oh, I see.
Grateful for the opportunity to learn, to grow, to become more resilient.
So it's like gratitude becomes this lifeline helping us navigate those rough waters.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for finding strength and resilience when things get tough.
So inspiring. It's not about pretending our struggles don't exist. It's about choosing to focus on the good that's still there.
And that choice, that shift in perspective, it can be incredibly powerful.
This has been such a great deep dive. It really feels like gratitude is the key to unlocking a more positive, resilient, joyful way of life.
It's a journey worth taking. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are so many other people out there who are exploring gratitude, trying to cultivate more appreciation and joy in their lives.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're all in this together. So, dear listener, as we wrap up this exploration into the science of gratitude, remember this. Gratitude is a superpower. It's a gift we can give ourselves, a gift we can share with others, and a gift that keeps on giving.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Cultivate it.
Yeah.
And let it transform your life.
Wow, that's a great way to put it. Well, this has been an amazing journey, and I'm feeling so inspired to put all of this knowledge into practice. Thanks for diving in with me.
Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners, until next time, keep diving deep, keep those gratitude muscles flexing, and keep spreading those good vibes.
Farewell, fellow knowledge seekers.